Hello everyone, in this video I will show you our new product, and you can see this is KinCony F4 smart controller because we have already released F8, F16 and F24 and F32, and this is a mini version that is 4-channel relay, so we call it F4. The F4 also supported by ESPHome for Home Assistant and support KCSV3 firmware and support Tuya app and support Arduino IDE and MicroPython. And so that you can use many different software solutions for this F4 smart controller. So in this video, I will show you the hardware details and look at what is inside of this box and how it works with the different software such as the Tuya app and Home Assistant. So let's look at the hardware firstly. Okay, let's look at this is KinCony F4 controller, and this is in front and this is the back. And this also supports install on the DIN rail. You can see you just install on the DIN rail in your power distribution box. And first let's look at the size, and you can see the size, this one size and this one, and the height. Okay, and it's also use a removable socket. You can see the removable socket. And let's look at analog input, 4-channel analog input. And this one you can see the power, and the power we have two versions of F4. You can see this is 24-volt version and another is 12 DC version, just used by different relay. And this is power, you can see positive and negative, and this is digital input, 4-channel digital input, and RS-485 Modbus protocol support A and B. And you can see this is normal open and COM. Every relay output have COM and normal open. So this is 4-channel relay. And this is OLED display that will show the Ethernet IP address and Wi-Fi IP address and the Tuya network state and the temperature sensor. The value will show on this display. And the Ethernet port and the SMA circuit of the Wi-Fi antenna of Tuya and the ESP32. And this one you can see that have a download button and the ESP32 reset button. And this one you can see that USB-C that download the firmware by compute or by Raspberry Pi, and SD card at here that will save logo when relay on and off will save to the SD card file. And this one you can see that have free GPL. You can use free GPL for different functions. You can define use for sensor, temperature sensor, humidity sensor, or also the newest KCSV3 firmware support define this free GPL for digital input. So if you 4-channel digital input is not enough for you to use, so you can define this free GPL for digital input port. And this also have menu control button, so that the controller is broken, the no network and no system, no software. This relay also can control on and off manually. Okay, so this is power LED indicate. Now let's look at what is inside of this box. I will open this box. Okay, let's open this aluminum shell. And you can see it's aluminum shell. And if you want OEM, we can print this logo for yourself, for your company logo. And what's inside of this box, you can see this display, the keyboard, and this relay. It's a removable relay. So if the relay is broken, you can easily to just get this relay out. It's very easily, and plug in a new relay. And you can see the relay also is 60 ampere. You can see if the power supply is 24 volt, so this relay coin is 24 volt. So if you want the controller work with 12 volt, so just replace this relay with 12 volt version. So I can just plug in. And let's look at this other resource firstly. This white color is Tuya module, so that can remote control by internet. And this is RF receive module, so that you can use a remote RF remote 433 MHz. And this one, that is ESP32S3. And we can see this have a battery. The battery used for RTC DS2321 RTC clock battery, because the product without battery is easy to send by airplane, so we are remove this battery. If you want to use the RTC clock, you can install the battery in your local city. Okay, so this is what inside of this controller, and this is ESP32S3, so that have a large memory size. Okay, let's install back to this box. Let's plug in this relay, so this will be easy to install it. And if you get this new controller, there is no firmware inside of this box. If you want to use for Home Assistant, there are two software solutions. One is used by ESPHome, download the YAML file, and another easiest way is download the KCS firmware by this USB-C cable. So I have already downloaded it. Let's look at how it works with the different software. And I have connected the Ethernet cable. I prefer to use the Ethernet, but also you can use the Wi-Fi. If you use the Wi-Fi, you can install this Wi-Fi antenna. Okay, also you can use some external Wi-Fi antenna with SMA socket. Now you can see this is Tuya Wi-Fi antenna, and this is ESP32, because I have used the Ethernet for the ESP32, but I will use the Tuya app, so I install this Wi-Fi antenna for Tuya module. Okay, and at here, that is the removable socket terminal. You can see I just plug in and give this a power supply. Because I have used a 24 volt, so I have used a 24 power supply. If you want to use a 12 volt version, so just use a 12 volt power supply. So you can see I can connect with the power, and the green LED is on. The software will boot up. That shows the welcome information. And now you can see, even if I have no this firmware inside, I can use this menu control button to turn on and turn off this relay. So that will be very easy for emergency to use if the controller is broken, if the network is broken, no network. And you can see this also can work. So this is work physically without software, without firmware. So now I can connect it. And look at this one, you can see that will show the IP address. And you can see that shows this 141 IP address for the Ethernet. So I can use this IP address lodged in my web browser. And at the first, let's look at how to use the Tuya app. That can remote control by internet. And you can see the Tuya state is offline. This is offline. And this yellow LED is blink. That prepared to compare with your Tuya mobile phone. And let's look at this is my mobile phone. And you can use Tuya app. You can use the Smart Life app. I have used this Smart Life. And make sure you have enabled this Bluetooth. You can see Bluetooth, because we need to discover this F4 device. So you can see that have auto discovered. That is KinCony F4, because I have enabled the Bluetooth. So click add and just configure the Wi-Fi SSID and password for your controller and press next. And let's look at this this state. One device have been added successfully. Okay, you can press down. I can press this button, turn on relay 1 and relay 2, relay 4, and relay until relay 4. You can see this is a 4-channel relay output. So this time you can use a Tuya mobile phone remote control by internet. You can see now I'm using Wi-Fi by my mobile phone, so you can see I can disable the Wi-Fi, just turn off the Wi-Fi. So this time that you have used by the 5G, and maybe you have used the 4G or 3G, So you can see I can also press the button to turn off this relay 1 and turn off this relay 2 at here. So this can remote control by internet. Use your Tuya mobile phone application. Must install this Wi-Fi antenna for Tuya module. Okay, and next we will look at my computer and see other software solution. Okay, let's back to my computer, and you can see that is KinCony F4. Our web page have showed some details about the different output and input, and you can check what software solution and document. You can see the ESP32 I/O pin defined at here. Just you can go to our phone. You can see this F4. You can see F4, F8, F16, F24, F32. So this is the F4, and you can see this I/O pin defined ESP32 S3 at here. And you can also see this is config file for ESPHome. ESPHome YAML file at here. You can see there are two different YAML files. One is with Tuya module, so that's a remote control internet used by ESPHome, and this is without Tuya, just used in local network by web service for ESPHome. So we have supplied these two different versions of YAML file, and this you can see the Arduino source code in our phone. And at here you can see the Arduino source code. You can see this demo, sample demo, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that have showed every hardware resource how to use it right by Arduino code. And such as you can see, click 1, sample code, and you can see this is sample code. And this is Arduino INO file. You can download it here and unzip. You can direct open by Arduino IDE. And this is bin file, the firmware bin file. At here you can download it to ESP32 directly, so it can work without Arduino IDE. So you can use ESPHome download tool, or you can use ESP32 download tool. And back, and you can see this is ESPHome official support device list. You can click, and that you can see the KinCony F4 have received by ESPHome device support list. You can see this is ESPHome official web page. I showed it here so that you can see the YAML file also is at here. Okay, and the next you can see this is KCS V3 firmware online guide. So the KCS V3 is very powerful, and every resource how to use it, and you can see it here. IF remote and many different functions all showed at here. That is very, very powerful. Just use in local network and support different protocols and support different applications. Now I will show you the most popular application you will use it. So the first time you can download with your IP address that's showed in OLED display. That just login. For example, we can relogin it again. So you just import your IP address, and this is the home page, and login by the default username and the default password, or is admin. And the login, you will see this F4 and some information of this board. And this is the input. You can see the input. You can reverse the level, and this is a new function, ESPHome DI. So this time you can use your free GPIO work as a digital input. This DI means digital input. So you can configure which free GPIO work as a DI. So you can choose this list. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 free GPIO. And where is this free GPIO? And you can see it here. This called free GPIO. Okay, so as you can see in our web page that have showed F4, and you will see this is free GPIO. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 4 channel digital input, if not enough for you to use. So you can set this free GPIO used for your digital input. So that will be total have 4 plus 5, that equal 9. So you will have 9 digital input used by F4 if you want set by this expand DI options at here. Okay, so and the next you can see the output, the relay output, which delay mode or hold on mode you want to use, and you can set the interrupt group for the motor, so that will not turn on two relay at the same time. And this you can see the IF, you can learn the IF signal and use by your IF receiver module and use the IF remote. And the sensor, also you can define the sensor, which sensor you have connected with the free GPIO or IS485 bus. So that you can see that Max support 32 sensors with by one board. And in the monitor you can see the different protocol states. The TUIA we have already connected, so that should connected. And some data input and LED strip sensor, because I have not added the sensor. If add the sensor, that will show the sensor value at here. And the relay, you can see relay on and off. So this can control relay on off by web browser and in local network without internet. And next you can see the IFDDT, that you can set the if condition and then command for automation. It also work in locally, work without internet, just work in local ESP32. So you can choose which if digital input or digital output or analog input or IF remote button or temperature or internet or Ethernet or Wi-Fi have disconnect or no internet. So and this is timer schedule and the customer size protocol. So you can see there are so many different if condition you can add to this this window, and also you can see what command you want to do, and DO digital input just relay output, and the IF that can send IF signal, and the time that have a delay time, and this is customer side protocol. You can define when send the custom protocol to a touch device. Okay, this is powerful FTDT. And the network, you can set the Ethernet for static IP or DHCP, and that shows the IP address of this board. And the Wi-Fi also you can set to STA mode or you can set to AP mode. If you set the AP mode, you can set the AP mode, the AP SSID and the password. This is a new firmware update this new function. And the station mode, that you just set your router's SSID and the password. And next, let's look at the generate, and let's look at so many different protocols that support by KCS V3. And the first, you can see how to use KinCony card. It's very easy. You just tell us your serial number, because this is serial number. You tell us we will register your serial number to KinCony card server that can free for 2 years. So when you tell us we have enabled your serial number in our KinCony cloud server, so it's very easy. You just need to enable this KinCony cloud and press save. And after the boot, you can add this device to your KinCony cloud server account. So we just, you can see, I can copy this serial number and open and log in by the KinCony cloud server address. You can see I have remembered this address. You can see I have my account have added this KinCony controller and many controller at here. So some is offline and some this is energy meter that is online. So I just click. You can see this is energy meter. So you can see the energy meter date. And if you want to add F4, so you just click add and paste your serial number. And I copy from here and you paste from here. So you can see, click add. Okay. And now you can see the F4 board have added here. That is shared online. So this you can click and you can see fortunately and click 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see there are fortunately have also remote control by internet. This is not used by TUIA mobile phone application. This just by web browser used by KinCony cloud server. So you can log in by this URL, web URL in any device, mobile phone, tablet, or computer, even Windows PC or Apple Macintosh. So just use by this URL, so that will be easy. So this is how to use this KinCony Cloud Server. You can see, just enable this way. And now you can see the monitor that the KinCony Cloud have connected. So that have showed this green color that is connected. Okay, let's look at the next protocol. You can see this is for Home Assistant. Many people have used Home Assistant with our product. So because it's KCS v3 is very easy for Home Assistant integration by MQTT Auto Discovery. So you can see this is my Home Assistant dashboard, and we can see setting and device. And device, you can see if I import F4, no date, no device. So now I will use zero code, no any config, integrate to F4 to Home Assistant. So you can see I just import at here or information, just import this of information. It's very easy. Make sure you have installed the MQTT Mosquito on your Raspberry Pi or on your Home Assistant server. So you can just enable, and device name, I can import F4. You can import it by yourself. And the broker IP address that have installed the MQTT broker, I have installed the Raspberry Pi KinCony server, and in Home Assistant is by Win server. So you can just import the IP address of Home Assistant, and you can see I can click setting and click system and click network. So this is my Home Assistant IP address 114. So you can add here and import just 114. Okay, make sure MQTT and this IP address, and the default port is this one, and this is my default username, and this is the password. So only import this MQTT broker information at here. So you can just click save and click OK, and reboot. Wait for a moment. The MQTT message will update to Home Assistant, and let's look at the monitor. And you can see the HA is disconnected. We can refresh, and you can see now it's turned green. So that means the F4 board have connected by Home Assistant by MQTT directly. So now I back to my Home Assistant dashboard, and also click setting and click device and click device. This time I import F4, and you can see this is auto discovery by Home Assistant using MQTT. So you can see I just click. You can see fortunately and analog input and digital input, and you can see I can turn on and turn off relay in Home Assistant. So this is very easy. You just only set the MQTT Mosquito IP address and some information part, username and password. So that can auto discover by Home Assistant. You can see this can use Home Assistant and use KinCony Cloud Server at the same time. You can see if I turn on 1, 2, 3 relay and I back to Home Assistant, that is update. If I turn off relay 1, you can see the KinCony Cloud Server is turn off relay 1. So this can work at the same time, also work at the same time with the Tuya app. Okay, so you can see the next. I have enabled this 1, 2, 3, 3 different applications at the same time. So even if your internet is broken, so the Home Assistant is work well. So the Tuya is a remote for internet. If the Tuya is broken, so you can use KinCony Cloud Server, remote control by internet. If KinCony Cloud Server is broken, so you can use Home Assistant by this turn on and turn off. So if your Home Assistant is broken, maybe your Home Assistant is broken, so you can see I can use this button, turn on and turn off. So this is many different way to control this relay on and off. Okay, let's look at the next. You can see the protocol and this customized protocol defined for if and for then command. Is easy to integrate the third-part device work with KinCony controller. And you can see that is Apple HomeKit that can support Apple HomeKit, which digital input you want to enable and which digital output you want to enable. You just click and choose this name, write your name at here, so that you can use this Apple HomeKit just by scan this code in your Apple HomeKit application. And this Apple HomeKit and this Loxan, you can integrate to Loxan mini server by this UDP command, because we have support Loxan integration by this UDP command. Feedback the state and control relay on and off, and feedback the sensor state and relay state and different digital input state, all by this UDP command. And also you can see this Tuya. The Tuya, if you want to make customized Tuya app interface, we can choose different product ID for Tuya, and the default you just not need to change it, just directly to use it. And this LED strip, if you want to connect LED strip, RGB LED strip to free GPIO, you can choose which GPIO you want to connect it. And this is LED account. So if you want to enable, so you can change this LED color and brightness and in case ESPHome firmware, so that you monitor this LED strip will add one LED strip and add two LED strip and add three LED strip listed at here. So this is for LED strip. And the last one is the system. And the system you can set the time room and where start up to remember the release state. Sometimes maybe power feature or power off, and the board will be restart. And whether recover the release state, just use this option. And remember state or not remember the state. And this is, you can see, I just set the username and the password for the login web page. And this is for restart the board, just restart. And this is for restore to manufacturing settings by these buttons. Sometimes maybe you have some mistake, you can click this button and it will recover and will be restored to factory setting. Okay, this is the ESPHome firmware. It's very powerful with the F4. If you have any questions, you can leave a message to us. And thanks for watching.